Welcome to Go Big or Go Broke, where you'll learn the method, madness, and making of impactful millionaires. And now, here's your host with the most, Cathy Karabetsos.
Hey there, podcasters. I'm Cathy Karabetsos, your host of Go Big or Go Broke. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have an incredibly special guest today. Yet again, another introduction, probably informally from our mutual friend, Jeff J. Hunter. So shout out to our friend, Jeff J. Hunter. And our guest today is an entrepreneur, speaker, and adventurer on a mission to feed 1 billion people. He manages LVRG, growth and operations of a membership association where they offer lower prices on tools that entrepreneurs use to grow their business. And every time somebody purchases the organization's membership, they donate a percentage to a nonprofit called Feed a Billion. LVRG, since March of 2018, LVRG has saved several communities of entrepreneurs over 4 million annually and fed over 150,000 people around the globe. Please join me in welcoming my special guest today, Cam Martinez. Cam, thank you so much and welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Super, super exciting. So let's go ahead and just dive right in. I had to go ahead and look up LVRG because we have the acronym and it's all over the place. And I was like, what is this? What is this? So please start out by telling us, what is LVRG? How did it come to be? And a little bit of background of how LVRG was started.
Absolutely. So you kind of mentioned it in the beginning. LVRG is a membership association where we use our group purchasing power to go to companies like ActiveCampaign, Kajabi, and negotiate lower prices on their services. So it's kind of like Costco. People pay us a membership and we give them access to our deals.
Sweet.
How it was started, actually, the CEO, Sylvania, super cool guy, who I'm hoping you'll meet in the future.
Yes.
He has a 10-year plus background in corporate sales, and literally what he does all day, every day is negotiate using group purchasing power. So he took that concept that he was using in his professional life and brought it into the world of digital marketing, entrepreneurship, and provided this kind of concept to a community that he had already built.
Right.
With the intention, just to help out a few people. Just to give you an idea, what started out being only available for like 40 people turned into like going viral and falling into the inboxes of like 1,500 people. So yeah, after that happened, he was just like, we got to start this company. He came to me September 2018 and said, hey, I want you to help me grow this company. Since then, I've become equity partner in it, and we are building this thing together. So.
Super exciting stuff. So that's a great story of how it all began, and you're now a partner in crime, and I love it so much. And we are also connected, Sylvania and I, so I'll have to follow a little bit more closely to keep up with what you all are doing. It is super exciting. So tell us a little bit of background on you, Cam. Tell us about Cam the man, and where's your background? Where'd you come from? A little bit about you personally, and of course now we know how you came to be with LVRG.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm from Denver, Colorado, born and raised, never left besides the constant vacations I try to take because I love traveling. But I'm from a little town called Brighton, Colorado. I'm sure if you've ever been to Colorado, you've never heard of this place.
No, I haven't. I've been there several times.
Yeah, it's kind of off the grid, but growing rapidly. But I come from that little town. I played baseball all the way up to college. I played 1 year of college, ended up not continuing to play, so I transferred to Colorado State University where I was studying hospitality management. Funny story about how that happened. The restaurant that I was learning how to be hospitable in offered me a position to run their social media, and I just fell in love with it because what happened was they were a super small restaurant on campus that was super classy, and my job was to bring in students into this environment that looked like it was supposed to be for the higher educated people. It had like a piano and just like classical music going on, and a place college students usually don't hang out in. But I fell in love with it because I was successful in attracting a bunch of students on campus, which wasn't very hard because we were the only place on campus with a liquor license. So that I used that to my advantage.
Absolutely. That's great.
Yeah. But that stemmed into me just like becoming super fascinated with how this thing called marketing works.
Sure.
And this is at the time where, I was in college, getting ready to finish out my senior year on a full ride scholarship, actually, which I was super blessed to have.
Wonderful.
And then I stumbled across this guy named Ty Lopez, which I'm sure a lot of people know. His video in his garage where he's like, if you want to be rich, you just read books and take my program and it'll all come true. And this was, I'm a vulnerable college student, I'm not making any money, but I love marketing. Why not test this out so that I can have an advantage over most people when I get out of here?
I love it. I just love the fact that you thought to even consider following somebody like Ty Lopez in college.
Yeah, so it was hard to not, because he was everywhere. So I quickly jumped on his course. And this was the summer going into my last year of college. And I started taking his course, and I got a couple clients doing social media marketing, and it turned out very well. And it was actually, it started off well enough that I ended up not going back to college.
Really?
I jumped full force into this thing called entrepreneurship, because I was high and mighty. I was on a high of life. Like, yeah. Oh my God, I'm making money. No one else that I know is doing this. Like, this is so cool. And then, not really knowing how the world of entrepreneurship and business works, you kind of have to make a business owner either the same amount of money they give you or more than they give you in order to continue to keep them as a client, right?
Right.
So I didn't do that well enough at first. I lost some of the clients that I got right off the bat, and immediately just fell into like, whoa, why did I just do this? Like, why did I just drop out of college? I just told all my friends and family I'm going to, crush this. And now I'm in a pit of like sadness because I just like, this is failing. So I'm getting to the point where I meet Sylvania. First I was doing Facebook ads.
Sure.
For small business owners. That didn't work out. So me not knowing who I was internally, not knowing, I was all about money, and the thing called money was just like the entire thing that was driving me.
Sure.
So instead of looking at myself, I blamed it on the Facebook ads. Okay, this thing isn't working. It's going out of style, whatever.
Nobody wants it anymore.
Who wants it anymore, right? I don't know how to do it, so nobody knows how to do it. So I'm going to start a podcast because I love talking and I want to meet cool people. So I stumbled across this guy, Sylvania Harad. I reached out to him because he had his own podcast. Long story short, he hopped on a call with me for 2 hours. He told me everything I needed to know, not only about starting a podcast, but getting clients.
Sure.
And not failing. So because of that same night, I spent all of my money that I had in my bank account, flew out to Austin, Texas to meet him. And since then, we've talked every single day for over 2 years. And now we are business partners in leverage.
Incredible. So you are telling me that you only dropped out of college a couple years ago, correct?
Yeah, a little over 2 years ago.
You had a wonderful meeting, somebody who could help to mentor you, somebody that's had success in his previous career and is now going to take this and launch it. And here you guys are just knocking it out of the park. Incredible. Do you regret leaving college?
No. I don't, but I also don't regret being in college. Like there's this constant stigma of people who, don't continue to go to college that, it was a waste of money and a waste of time. I loved it there. I love the people. I love the opportunities. And obviously it was a huge catalyst to where I am today. So no, I absolutely don't regret anything.
Absolutely. You had to take the steps that you took in order to get where you are today, which is a fabulous story. And by the way, I could so closely relate to it. Not from my own firsthand experience, but I have several children. My middle two girls, I will call them. I have 7 children. So one of them was recruited and went to a Division I school to play ball, soccer in her case. Similar situation, wound up not playing, but at the end of the day, she's a great player, finishing up her college degree. And right now she's kind of like, what do I do? This is her senior year after one redshirt year. So thank you. I'm sure she'll be listening to this going, so Mom, what are we going to be doing about this final year? I'm going to leave that up to her, but she's a great kid and it's amazing. And you guys actually similar paths. She's a communications major and she's actually learning firsthand, and I have her following people like Dennis Yu and Jeff J. Hunter, and she'll now be looking at you, Kim. So we'll be watching you from the sideline. So that's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Tell us a little bit, flipping ahead and forward to Leverage. Tell us where you guys are at today. Where do you guys think that you're taking the association? What are kind of the plans? Where's your growth? Where is it coming from? And who you serve? Just give us a little bit more about Leverage.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was started in March 2018. In a little under 9 months, we generated a little over $500,000 in revenue. We saved our community over $4 million annually, fed over 150,000 people in a very short amount of time. And the reason, I don't say it because it's just not to be like cocky or anything. It's more so like what we provide to people is kind of a win-win-win for everybody.
Absolutely.
The more people we get in our community, the more money they save, the more people we feed around the world, the more people we impact. So our goal is to feed 1 million people a month. That's where we're headed right now. Metrically, that's, our goal is to hit 2,000 paid members inside of our membership.
Okay.
In the next, 6 to 12 months. So we're headed on a path really not on our revenue generating track. Obviously we have to hit numbers and goals, but we're more on like a people fed metric. and we're constantly tracking how many people we're impacting around the world. So
excellent. So changing the philosophy from getting money to feeding faces, feeding people, feeding humans, and that's where you're finding you're having your success. So well done. It's taken some of us a half of a century to get to the point where understanding that and really understanding that and driving that, switching it around, because, when I was born and raised, I am not a boomer, but I am an X-Gen. So you millennials are like conquering this all right out of the gate. And I'm so proud to watch you guys and be a fan from the sidelines. But we were not taught that. We were taught you go out, you earn your living, and you make your family, your wealth, and you create it for yourself. And I am an incredibly ambitious entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur, and it took me a long time to figure that out. It's not about us and making the money. It is about others. How many can you impact? And that's part of the reason why I created this podcast as well, is it's our goal to create wealth and help others create wealth for themselves and their family. So well done. What a noble cause that you guys are doing while being able to generate revenue. Super exciting. I can't wait to hear more about it. So tell us specifics about the processes and how you're recruiting clients. Obviously, digital side, that's where you're at. Talk to us about some of your techniques. What does it take to actually build your membership? And by the way, my company works directly with associations, so I understand the importance of building your audience or audience development on the association side. So tell us about how you guys are going at it, because this will be very helpful for my clients to also watch what it is that you guys are doing and kind of trailblazing in the digital space.
Absolutely. I think one of the more important things behind what we're doing is building a community. That's, Sylvania, the CEO, is huge about community. That's the entire foundation of what we're building here, is making sure that our community comes first. So every deal that we get, it all comes from the kind of, voting process that our community goes through. So we have a Trello board full of a bunch of deals that people have requested, and then based off of how many people want them, then it moves up the ladder, and then we work harder to get those deals because obviously it benefits more people. In terms of how we're building our community, what was super cool about what Sylvania created, and I'm excited for him to tell you his story, because he's just
we'll have to have him on. Absolutely.
Yes, for sure. What was cool about what he started was he had a community that he basically just transferred over into this new offer that he was creating. So he's a guy who loves to provide value and teach people how to become successful entrepreneurs. Wow. So that foundation, it was natural for him to save those people money on the tools that they needed to continue to grow their business.
Right.
So all the success that we've had since March has all been organic. We have not done any outbound marketing. Obviously, I reached out to you because we're after a year, we're just starting to implement a media strategy. We're just starting to implement a advertising and marketing strategy.
Excellent.
But it was all built organically because of the community that was already established. So if anybody takes anything away from this, it's build a community first.
Sure.
And then see what they want. It's very cliche, very basic, but that's essentially how it's been happening.
Absolutely. And I think that when associations get to a certain number of actually audience, and whether they have been successful in developing that audience, sometimes they tend to not be able to stay in close communication with their audience. So as you're venturing out and you guys are growing, and now you're going to be implementing a strategy to market and also to get and attract a larger audience, how do you guys intend to keep with the community in terms of hands-on, really grassroots feeling while you're having some nice or explosive growth? How do you guys intend to do that?
Absolutely. So there's a few different tactics. Where the cool thing about the world we live in is we have this little tool called Facebook, right? And Facebook has created what's called Facebook groups, and literally it's just like they've allowed entrepreneurs to establish a community digitally where you can go in and just talk to these people all day, every day, right? At any time of the day, and keep in close contact with them to make sure that they're happy, to make sure that, what they want is being brought into the membership. It's huge, and highly underutilized in some businesses.
Excellent.
To keep communication with your clients, right? You can go on there and do live video and just talk to them and be like, hey, what do you guys want to see brought into this company that we're building? And it's very cool because they will tell you just right off the bat, right? It's live interaction. There's no more day turnaround. It's immediate, and you can immediately find out what they want. So that's one thing that we're doing is our community. We will continue to grow that because that's where all of our communication lies. On top of that, there's this cool thing you can do with Facebook groups. You can ask people for their email, right? We don't accept anybody into our group unless they have given us their email, not only to lead generate, but also to make sure that they're here for a purpose, right? That they're not here to spam or just, get access to what other people are doing and hack other people, but really they're here because they want deals, they want to be a part of the community, and then right off the bat they find out what we're about. So because we're collecting their emails, we're also staying in communication with them via email. So
that's incredible, and I think key is going to be making sure that you keep that feeling. So well done. I can't wait to watch your growth. It sounds like you guys are having incredible success already, and you will do fine as long as you keep at the grassroots center your community. You'll be great. You're going to expand that, and I'm going to be really super excited to share this out with our association clients, because I think that some of them maybe lean towards more one-on-one events, which is fantastic, and I think that we should be driving what we're doing online, offline, and what we're doing online or offline, online. I think it's very, very important, but super important that you're building that community, and Facebook groups is definitely a route to go. We're hearing so much more about that right now, and I think it's time of the ages, no question, for sure. Tell us a little bit about some struggles, because nothing is perfect, and we are all going through struggles. We all have them. What would you say from this duration, since March of 18, what are the struggles that the association has seen? How have you been able to overcome them? And tell us a little bit about your infrastructure maybe, and how many people that are helping your organization, your association right now, and how you look to branch that out in terms of staffing and building up the community.
Absolutely. So right off the top of my head, the first thing that I can think of is what is sometimes difficult about what we're creating is we're partnering with other companies, right, and providing their tools as like affiliating their products to our community. And sometimes what we've run into multiple times is their, terms of service or, just their company rules.
Sure.
Sometimes don't allow so their policies sometimes don't allow people like us to kind of resell their product or offer it in a way that we're marketing their company indirectly through us. Yeah. I hope that makes sense. So
sure does. Corporate red tape. Very familiar.
Yeah, absolutely. So just one of the first products, services that we brought into our community was Zoom, which was, it was supposed to only be provided to about 50 people. That was the one that exploded. And what happened was the president of Zoom called Sylvania and said, hey, we love that you're bringing us a ton of new clients, but we can't allow you to continue to do this because you're breaking our terms of service. You're not an established association. It was just a guy on Facebook, bringing a bunch of people to Zoom. So that's how he started Leverage. He's like, I have to put this behind a paywall, right, so that we can actually be an association.
Sure.
And it has to be a membership so that we can go to companies and say, hey, we're not here just to, be one and done. We want to create long-term partnerships with you. So that was the struggle that we had in the beginning, was making sure that we weren't breaking those rules.
So flipping from a buying and selling service and offering that through to a true association.
Exactly. Yeah. And so instead of just random guys on Facebook, we are now we are an association.
I love it.
We look like an association. We act like an association. It's all behind that wall. So since then, because we have figured that out and we're intentionally going out and seeking partnerships that, one, align with what we want to create, and two, are keen to attracting more clients through us, right? If we're bringing you 1,000 people, why not work with us, right?
Of course, it's silly. It doesn't even make sense.
Exactly. But there are some companies out there who don't like that, which is, surprising, but at the same time, kind of sad.
Yeah.
But since we figured it out, one of the difficulties that we have on top of communicating with our customers is the customer support side. So right now it is just Sylvania and me. We are obviously looking to, as revenue continues to come in, we're going to bring on a team. Customer support is number one, making sure that, when people are coming to us with questions, concerns, comments, we are getting back to them within, a time frame that suits their comfortability, because customer experience and support is huge with what we're creating. So right now, that's really, I'd say that's kind of the biggest one in terms of what we're doing.
Man after my own heart. My company, my formal company, is quality, customer service, and sales. So everything that we do is 100% about the customer journey and experience. So well done, because you cannot leave your customers behind. And in this case, they're members. Your audience is the only thing that you have to go by. And if you not respond, we create packages that are called response. So if you're not responding, I don't care what platform you're using. I don't care if that's email or if it's in your social platforms or if it's a telephone call. I'm always talking. You don't want to ruin your brand because you built something hugely successful. And I've watched it time and time again, whether that's through Shopify entrepreneurs, they just blow it completely because they're not taking care of the customer. So well done. You're thinking about the hardest things now. And I can't challenge you enough to get that piece in order, because when one person is left behind, even for a couple minutes, the ripple or trickle down effect of that is enormous. So great that you're thinking about that, Cam. Well done.
Yeah, absolutely. It's for sure one of our main priorities and why we're taking it so slow, why we didn't implement a media and marketing strategy right off the bat because of that.
So. You grow too fast and you're going to lose your brand, and that's the name of the game. Your reputation has got to be everything first and foremost. So good for you. So again, can you recap for us how many members you have currently? I know you're trying to get to 2,000, right?
So yesterday we launched an offer, and we actually attracted 41 new people, which equates to about 4,000 people fed just yesterday alone.
I love it.
So since then, we now have a little over 720 members. Excellent. With a community that's constantly growing of about 3,000. So you guys can do the math there and see our conversion rate and stuff. But yeah,
that is exceptional. Fantastic. Is there anything else you want to share with the audience in terms of how they could become a member and the benefits of Leverage and the actual, other than just the buying and shopping, community obviously being key?
Yeah, I would say just to touch on who we serve. I forgot to mention that most of our community is built up of entrepreneurs looking to grow their business online. So that's broad, but it's really like agency owners, coaches, consultants, a lot of entrepreneurs who are, 5 figures a year looking to get to 6 figures looking to get to 7, but they're 1 to 3 employees, that median range of income. So that's really who we're looking to serve. And on top of the deals that we provide, we're really looking to implement an education piece that hopefully helps you use these tools to continue to grow your business, because that's really where we started, and we would love to continue to implement that. So if you're interested in joining our membership, you can go to lvrg.it, leverage it, kind of a pun that we created. And then our Facebook group is Entrepreneur Deals and Discounts.
I love it. I just recently saw that as well. Thank you very much for sharing that. I had also watched a video most recently on your Facebook page, your personal Facebook page, and the question I have for you right now is about tools. What is your favorite, or maybe a hidden tool that most won't know about, that you think that you could share with the audience that they could take away today to take a look at? And maybe it's one that you guys are supporting, and maybe it's not. I'm not sure. You could tell us, what is your favorite tool?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the video you're referring to was about the productivity app called Shift, which is super cool. It's like an all-in-one platform where instead of having to open a bunch of different tabs on your desktop, it all lies within this one app. So you don't have to go into Google Chrome all the time anymore. You can go into this app Shift, and all of your emails are there, all of your Trello and Freshdesk and Facebook Messenger. It's all like on the side, and you can access it all at once. So that is it's such a super cool app that actually is in our membership, but really a great productivity hack for sure.
Excellent. I was blown away by it. I was like, this is super cool. There are a couple of things that are not connected right now, but I'm sure that will be to come. That is definitely something I'll be checking out after the show for certain. So
yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for putting that on, and thanks for sharing that with us. So what about you? A typical morning for you. So tell us, because you've been going big with Sylvania, tell us a little bit about Cam the Man. What makes you tick? What gets you up in the morning? What is your motivation? Maybe a little bit about your procedures, what you're doing in the morning to get you going.
Yeah, so obviously the biggest one is the mission that we are striving for every day. I firmly believe, if you're not in love with what you're doing, you probably shouldn't be doing it.
Totally.
Even at a young age, I love to work hard. Some days I lose a ton of sleep because I'm always working on something, but it's because I love it so much, right? I wouldn't be doing that if I wasn't super passionate about that. But one of the cool things about Sylvania, mine and his relationship, is we are firm believers in energy. We're very spiritual. Meditation is a huge part of our everyday. So I wake up every morning around 5 to 6 a.m., immediately throw on a guided meditation. And then, I'll start my day. I get a cup of coffee. I'll eat breakfast. And then I'm a huge gamer. I'm young, so I love video games.
Absolutely.
I love video games. So I'll play the video games in the morning just because it gets me like in the groove. I'm excited. And then I'll start my day, check emails, check the support box. And then I'll usually end my day around 5 or 6 and then hang out with the ones that I love.
So you're actually kind of balancing your life and having fun while you're doing it, and you have a laptop that you can work from. I imagine that this is so key behind the change in the world. And I want everybody to hear this interview, Cam, because you're doing it right. Again, from somebody who's come from a physical location and challenging myself to grow my company over 29 years. You guys, the millennials, are doing it right, and I'm so super excited about everything that you guys are doing. Thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
This is the time of the show that I ask you to think about a couple of tips outside of playing video games and getting motivated with that and spiritual meditation. Is there any tips that you can give our audience today that are practical and tips that they could take away and saying, these are some things that they could implement today to help them go big?
Is it like daily routine? Is it like business strategy?
Maybe geared towards business strategy. If you were talking to Cam a couple years ago and you were Sylvania, what might Sylvania suggest for you specifically to hit that point where you say, wow, that makes sense to me. I need to go and implement this. I need to take this action to go big because I too can go big.
For sure. Well, because he did tell me something like that, something that's commonly misconstrued these days is that the old ways of getting business and marketing and stuff are dead. I completely disagree. I spent over a year and a half going out, networking with people. I love one-on-one conversations like this, but I more so love one-on-many conversations where it's me presenting valuable information to 30 to 100 to 500 people on things they can do to grow their business. So what I would say is, if you are in a place where you're looking to grow your company and maybe, the online way of doing things isn't your forte, don't lose sight of going out and meeting people. Like, go meet people, get in front of a lot of people, tell them what you're creating, offer them solutions to help them. And then it's really just about creating meaningful relationships. I think that's one of the biggest things about what you can continue to do in your business is create meaningful relationships with people.
You got it. Nurturing relationships, our motto around here. So thank you, Cam, for sharing that with us. And that is practical advice that anybody and everybody should be using. If you are shy or you're a little bit of an introvert, a ton of my friends are naturally introverted and they have pulled themselves out of the shell just to have the conversations with people, to get to know one another, nurturing relationships, building those foundational trusted relationships, which ultimately turn into business. So thanks again for sharing that with us. How can they find you again? I know that you gave us that a little bit earlier, but I'd love them to be able to find you both personally and professionally. How might our audience do that, Cam?
Yeah, absolutely. Cam Martinez on Facebook, LinkedIn. You can go to our group, Entrepreneur Deals and Discounts, where we're always in there just helping people with our services, helping them grow their business. And then you can also find us at lvrg.it. That's where our membership lives. You can go there and check it out.
Excellent. We will keep all of that in the show notes for the show. We will be promoting this and pushing that out. We will certainly let you know when it goes live. Thank you again so much for sharing with us today. It was great to have you on the show, Cam.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I hope that this message reaches somebody and it helps them.
It absolutely will. I know it for sure. Thank you again. Podcasters, thank you so much for joining us today. Please subscribe to the show below by clicking that red button and rate the show if you may. Share it out to all your friends so they too can go big. I am Cathy Karabetsos, and you could find me at cathykarabetsos.com on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Have a grateful day, and everybody, go big.
You've been listening to Go Big or Go Broke with Cathy Karabetsos. If you enjoyed this episode, then you better play big and hit that subscribe button.